I was reborn together with my husband, who loved me deeply. In my past life, he was a brilliant, famed director, and I was a top-tier, widely acclaimed Best Actress. Together as a couple, we achieved lifelong glory. In his final moments, his last words to the world were, "I was his lifelong muse." Reborn just before my debut, at the audition for Miles Meng's new film, all actors were nervous, except me, wearing a confident smile. He would choose me. He was mine, until Miles Meng walked past me indifferently and pointed to another beautiful face. It suddenly dawned on me that perhaps he didn't want to live the same life as before, nor did he want to love the same person again. It took me a moment to realize this was the audition for Spring Encounter, and to realize that I had been reborn. For a moment, I wondered why I had been reborn. To boast a little, I consider my past life so perfect it left no regrets. Professionally, I was a celebrated Best Actress who had won the Oscar Lifetime Achievement Award. On the family front, though we were a child-free couple without children, I had a husband who loved me most in the world, Miles Meng. We met through Spring Encounter, starting as two unknown figures in the film industry and walking side by side to the pinnacle of the cinematic world. Everyone said we were a union of geniuses, an undying love myth in the entertainment industry. The only regret, perhaps, was pushing ourselves too hard when we were young. Miles passed away at the age of 60. On his deathbed, he held my hand and said I was his muse for life. I wept uncontrollably, gripping his hand in return. "If there's a next life, I still want to love you." Miles smiled and closed his eyes forever. After he passed, I too left this world within 2 years, overwhelmed by grief. When I opened my eyes again, I was back here, this year. I'm 19, a sophomore at film school, about to debut as the lead in Spring Encounter and step onto that path of endless stardom. Though I still don't understand the reason for being reborn, after calming down, I accepted it with perfect naturalness. Such a blissful life. Why not live it once more? He's here. He's here. Director Meng is here. The audition results are in. Someone shouted those words, and the chaotic set instantly fell silent. I looked up, my gaze fixed directly on the young man approaching. He wore a simple black shirt, sleeves casually rolled to his elbows, revealing toned forearms. His features held a touch of sternness, yet carried a familiar warmth. My heart skipped a beat. It was Miles Meng in his youth. A few girls nearby began whispering, "So handsome, Director Meng." He could have relied on his looks, but he chose to make it in the entertainment world with talent. I couldn't help but chuckle quietly. In a few years, he'll turn into an unkempt uncle, unwashed face, uncombed hair, stubbly beard, holed up in the editing room all day. But what I've always loved was never Miles Meng's appearance. This timeline must be right after Miles Meng won a Best New Director award, though not a major accolade. To us film school students, he was already an untouchable figure. Who do you think Director Meng will choose? Sigh. I was too nervous just now and didn't perform well. I hope I can at least land a minor role. Everyone's faces were etched with tension, except mine. I smiled confidently. The more they praised him, the more satisfied I felt. Such an exceptional man. From the very beginning, had eyes only for me. Luna Lin. He loved me all his life, cherished me all his life, and even confessed his love to me with his dying breath. I lifted my head, my gaze firmly fixed on Miles Meng. Perhaps it was my imagination, but his eyes seemed to settle on me too. I offered him a smile, but the very next second, Miles Meng's gaze coolly shifted away. "We've selected the female lead for Spring Encounter." He picked up his notebook, his voice deep and composed. "Lily Liu." All eyes turned in unison toward a quiet girl in the corner. The girl's eyes widened in surprise. Her cheeks flushed with a timid, innocent charm, like a pure and guileless fawn. I froze. Why? Why did Miles Meng choose me like he did in my past life? What happened? I should have been the female lead of Spring Encounter. Not only was it my debut work, but that role was the defining character of my life. I felt both puzzled and bewildered. Could it be that my rebirth caused some kind of butterfly effect? Where did things go wrong? In my previous life, Miles Meng told me that the moment he saw my audition performance, He knew I was the only one for the female lead. Wanyue, you were born for the movies. Even though you were only 19 during the Spring Encounter audition and hadn't played a single leading role, I knew right away that your acting career would have an extraordinary future. The words Miles later confessed to me in secret made me both shy and overjoyed. But why did he choose someone else this time? I clenched my fists, my fingertips trembling with unease. Without Spring Encounter, how would Miles and I cross paths in this lifetime? In my past life, during the filming of Spring Encounter, Miles and I began to understand each other and developed a slight fondness. But due to our 7-year age gap, we didn't rush into a relationship. What truly brought us together was the failure of Spring Encounter. That art house film, meticulously crafted by Miles Meng, suffered a disastrous box office performance upon release. Audiences criticized its slow pace, found the plot incomprehensible, and even questioned Miles Meng's directorial skills, accusing him of pretentiousness and a lack of cinematic understanding. Yet, this widely panned Spring Encounter ended up elevating me, because in the film, Miles Meng captured me with breathtaking beauty. A top-rated review remarked that the female lead under his lens resembled the moon hanging high in the sky, fragile yet stubborn, lonely yet free. After that, I gained a massive following of stans for looks and stans for talent, while Miles Meng faced the opposite, a torrent of harsh criticism. Some even claimed his terrible movie wasted my looks and acting skills. I felt immensely guilty about it, so I began frequently comforting, encouraging, and affirming his talent through WeChat messages. Our exchanges grew more frequent, evolving from discussions about films to life, and from life to dreams. Later, we often met up to unwind together. Finally, on a star-studded night, he took my hand. Wanyue, I don't want to wait anymore. If you like me too. I rose on my toes and kissed him. Let's be together. And then, we loved each other for a lifetime. Why Lily Liu? She doesn't even fit the female lead's character design. Many around me grew as restless as I was. The female lead of Spring Encounter is a woman with dramatic life ups and downs, maturing from youth, requiring a more mature face. But the actress Miles chose, Lily Liu, has a youthful face shape. How could she possibly carry this role? Miles spoke up again. We've made some changes to the script, focusing more on the female lead's campus years. Overall, Lily Liu is the most suitable. His explanation remained calm. I was stunned. The script changed. Miles went on about the new script's content, and the more I heard, the more alarmed I became. This isn't the Spring Encounter from my past life at all. The new script is more plot-driven, faster, paced, almost turned into a popcorn flick. This was completely out of character for Miles Meng. The other actors, though still somewhat dissatisfied, had no choice but to accept the explanation. I packed my bag and numbly followed the crowd out. Suddenly, I overheard a girl gossiping nearby. I've long heard that Miles Meng and Lily Liu are a thing, just picking a Nepo baby and putting on this whole audition show. I stopped in my tracks. Impossible. Miles isn't that kind of person. I turned and ran back, guided by instinct, stopping just outside the lounge door. The door was ajar, and Lily Liu's voice drifted out. Mr. Meng, I thought you might avoid choosing me to steer clear of suspicion. It suddenly hit me. Lily Liu, she was a former acting student of Miles Meng. The Miles Meng I knew had always been cool and steady. Even in his past life, when the whole internet turned against him, he never lost his composure. Even on our wedding day, he only smiled a little brighter than usual. I had never once seen him lose control. But now, he suddenly reached out and pulled Lily Liu tightly into his embrace. His possessiveness felt unfamiliar to me. Silly girl, the teacher changed the script just to choose you. Can't you see that? Lily's tears welled up instantly. Last month, after I confessed to you, you said we shouldn't see each other anymore. The teacher was wrong. Miles Meng looked down at her, his voice low, but carrying an unshakable resolve. Do whatever you wish. And the teacher won't hide his feelings anymore either. But you must also promise me that, no matter what happens, you'll live well. Lily looked up, staring at him in astonishment for a long time. Miles smiled, leaned down, and gently kissed her cheek. On the way back to school, it rained heavily, and I didn't have an umbrella. Rainwater streamed down my hair, soaking through my clothes, chilling me to the bone. But compared to the cold in my body, the chill in my heart was even more suffocating. I finally realized Miles Meng had also been reborn. He must have been reborn earlier than I was. So, the script was revised, adapting Spring Encounter specifically for Lily Lu. I feel like I should confront him. Why do this? Why not come to me? What did everything from our past life even mean? But what right or standing do I have? To outsiders, Miles Meng and Luna Lin are just two strangers who haven't crossed paths. Yes, the deep affection we once shared is all a thing of the past life now. Miles simply wants to choose a different path in this lifetime. One, without me in it. While eating in the cafeteria, I scrolled through news about the casting for Spring Encounter. After Miles chose his former student Lily Lu as the lead for his new project, it exploded online, with many speculating about their real relationship. Plenty of shipper fans emerged too. So intense. An age, gap, teacher, student romance, gorgeous guy and beautiful girl, mature man and young woman, classic drama couple vibes. I'm totally shipping them. Love this kind of irresistible, morally ambiguous taboo thrill. I stared at these comments, my heart feeling as if it were being tightly squeezed by something. Wanyua, what's wrong? You look so pale. Lia Li, sitting across from me, asked with concern. It's nothing. I'm just a bit tired. Lia Li's eyes grew even more worried. She was my best friend. In my past life, she earned enough money and fame through idol dramas when young, but resolutely transitioned behind the scenes in middle age, becoming a successful producer. She always knew what she wanted, while I, Reborn, grew increasingly lost. Is it because of the audition? Sigh, I know you've seen director Meng's previous films and really admire him, but after all, we're only sophomores. It's normal not to pass an audition on the first try. I lowered my head, poking at the rice in my bowl with my chopsticks, and said nothing. Lia Li sighed. Don't be upset. I've received a few invitations for web dramas recently. Do you want to come along and give it a try? Though it's not as grand as screen productions, it's still an opportunity. I'll think about it, I said softly, my mind in complete turmoil. The events of my past life played out like a film, replaying slowly and incessantly in my mind. Details I had once overlooked now stood out with painfully sharp clarity. I remember first taking notice of Lily Lu not long after Miles Meng and I made our relationship public. She once cornered us backstage at a press event. She's only a year older than me. Why is she allowed? But I'm not. Miles was silent for a long time. It's not about age. I'm a teacher, and you're a student. His tone carried a weariness I had never heard before. Tears welled up instantly in Lily Lu's eyes. She turned and ran away, her figure as frail as a falling leaf. Later, Lily acted in many productions, but never achieved fame. Rumors said she became involved with a company executive, only to be exposed later as the other woman. Amid the overwhelming public backlash, she chose to end her life. When news of Lily's suicide broke, Miles locked himself in his study and sat in a daze for hours. I simply assumed he was grieving the loss of a student. Every year after that, on Lily Lu's Memorial Day, he would go to sweep her grave. I accompanied him for 2 or 3 years, until I ran into an international film festival and awkwardly said I couldn't make time this year. Miles Meng said, "You're so cold." I was utterly shocked. Lily Lu and I weren't close. Accompanying him for 2 years was already going above and beyond. How dare Miles say that about me for her sake? But then I thought, after all, he makes indie films. It's normal for him to be a bit more sensitive and delicate. Later, Miles apologized. We made up, and he never asked me to go grave sweeping again. So I never really took Lily Lu's matters to heart. But now, I suddenly understand. Lily Lu has always held a place in Miles Meng's heart. Coming back, reborn this time, he wants to make up for regrets. He will never let go of Lily Lu again. Buzz. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. Miss Luna Lin, We found your audition performance outstanding. Would you be interested in playing the female lead's best friend in Spring Encounter? The female lead's best friend? Leah Lee leaned in for a look, her eyes instantly lighting up. Wanyue, this is an opportunity. Even if you didn't get the female lead, the supporting role is still great. It's Miles Meng's production after all. I shook my head and tossed my phone aside. I'm not going. Why? Didn't you say you loved Miles Meng's films before the audition? Not anymore. I smiled mockingly. The new Spring Encounter is a patchwork monster. Miles Meng plagiarized plots from countless blockbuster films, past and future. The Miles Meng of the past despised plagiarism the most. He said if he ever ran out of talent, he'd rather be mediocre than resort to copying. But now, to make Spring Encounter an instant hit and ensure Lily Liu's rise to fame, he's even willing to discard his own integrity. All right, I respect your decision. So, what are your plans next? Leah Lee asked curiously. I shook my head, idly scrolling through my phone messages, when suddenly, I spotted the latest post from the school's official account. The student union was recruiting actors to shoot a short public service film. My eyes instantly lit up. Yin, I want to give this a try. Huh? The audition was held in the school's small auditorium, with only a handful of students in attendance. After all, this kind of public welfare project neither had guidance from a famed director nor platform exposure. Film students were all busy networking for entertainment industry resources. Who would care about such a production? After the teacher announced the start of the audition, I stood on stage, took a deep breath, and closed my eyes. Memories from my past life flooded back like a tidal wave. The joys and sorrows before the camera, the triumphs and tragedies within those roles, had long since fused with my very blood. I opened my eyes and began to perform. The audience gradually fell silent. Even after the performance ended, several judges remained wide-eyed and speechless, while the other auditioning students stared at me in stunned silence. Just as I began to grow nervous, one judge started clapping excitedly. Excellent, absolutely brilliant. Which class are you from? How did you perform so masterfully? In an instant, thunderous applause erupted throughout the auditorium. I stood on the stage, looking at the astonished eyes in the audience, and suddenly realized something. Right, I've been reborn, but my acting skills haven't reset. This is the talent of a future Triple Crown actress. Luna Lin, will never be buried like this. Amid the applause of the crowd, my heart surged with passion. So, what if I don't have Spring Encounter? So, what if I don't have Miles Meng? Luna Lin, will continue walking my path to stardom in this lifetime. Not only will I reclaim the awards from my past life, but I'll also take on more meaningful roles in this one. This isn't just an actor's duty, it's the conscience of an artist. Just like the line from my favorite movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. You must be proud of your own life. You must have the courage to start over. I smoothly joined the school's public service film project. While Spring Encounter also began filming, the movie frequently topped trending searches, though most public attention focused on the gossip about Miles Meng and Lily Liu rather than the film itself. Since reporters secretly photographed Lily Liu moving into Miles Meng's home, the two no longer bothered to hide their relationship, walking hand in hand everywhere daily. In the parking garage, Miles held a cigarette between his fingers, while his other hand cupped Lily's nape, kissing her with deep, unwavering passion. On the snack street, Miles gently wiped the corner of Lily's mouth with a handkerchief, then suddenly covered her whole face playfully. Lily pouted and playfully punched his chest, while Miles wore the triumphant grin of a boy who just pulled off a prank. Then, at the film festival backstage, Miles, who usually avoids socializing, suddenly approached a male celebrity to ask for an autograph. When questioned by reporters, he smiled and said, "A little friend of mine likes him." The comments under these news stories repeatedly exploded. He calls her little friend. This man is too smooth, so sweet. Lily must have saved the galaxy in her past life to win over a man like Director Meng. Our Lily deserves it. She's an adorable, sweet little sunshine. I'd fall for her too if I were a guy. My fingers mechanically scrolled through these comments, each one stinging until my eyes ached. I had never seen Miles Meng like this before. Vivid, vibrant, brimming with youthful spirit. So, this is what he becomes when he meets his true love. 2 months later, the filming of Spring Encounter wrapped up and entered post-production. The overwhelming flood of gossip news finally subsided. Around the same time, our school's public service film Moonlight was released. There was no promotional build-up, no trending hashtags, just a brief post on the school's official website and social media account. On the poster, a girl's lonely silhouette stood before a gloomy school building, moonlight spilling over her shoulders. Beneath, it was this line, dedicated to all souls still struggling in the darkness. Moonlight told the story of a poor, disabled girl from a mountain village, overlooked in favor of sons, who relied on herself to get into college and escape her circumstances. A day passed, and the views hadn't reached 10,000. Shares and comments were only in the dozens. But all of us remained calm. This was just the norm for a low-budget public service film. Some things are created not for popularity, but to convey a message. During filming, we all poured 100% of our energy and passion into it. That's what matters. By evening, our small group chat suddenly exploded with activity. Oh my god, our public service film is trending. Wan Yue, go check it out. So many people are praising your acting. Surprised, I open Weibo and discover the trend originated from a famous film critic reposting our public service film with the caption, compared to some blockbuster films that thrive on gossip and hype. This is what everyone should be watching. Overnight, the buzz around Moonlight spread like wildfire. Netizens showered it with high praise. Wow, this moved me to tears. This is true cinematic art. Every girl should watch this. Education is our best path forward. Many also took notice of me, the female lead. To act like this at 19 is pure genius. Heaven sent talent. The female lead is stunning and her acting is phenomenal. I'm a fan. Word of mouth grew exponentially, with Moonlight's most brilliant scenes going viral on short video platforms. View counts shattered 1 million within a week. Even the official movie channel extended an invitation to us. When a host asked about my creative aspirations, I laughed and said, at my age, talking about creative ideals still feels a bit naive. Right now, I just want to share something meaningful with everyone. Where sunlight doesn't reach, I hope moonlight can still find its way in. Instantly, netizens erupted with even more enthusiasm. Now, this is a real actor, not chasing fame, but striving to convey value. So much better than those empty-headed actors who rely on gossip for hype. Everyone should take notes on what it means to have substance. I could tell many netizens were taking jabs at Spring Encounter, which had been mired in constant scandals around the same time. Miles Meng must have noticed it too. Yet, for some reason, he still liked and reposted our charity video, adding, a wonderful charity piece. The lead actress performed beautifully, exceptionally well. Her future is undoubtedly limitless. I stared intently at this Weibo post, my eyes suddenly growing warm. Those memories I deliberately tried to forget came flooding back like a tide. At 26, Miles Meng crouched in a corner of the Spring Encounter set. Warming 19. Year. Old Luna Lin's frost. Reddened hands beneath his overcoat. At 27, Miles pinned Luna against the editing room door during her visit to the set. His breath scorching. 2 months without seeing you. I couldn't wait until wrap. At 30, Miles stood at the end of the red carpet, gently wiping the corner of Luna's eye with his fingertip. I'll love you for a lifetime, through wealth and poverty. A lifetime seemed so long, yet he truly kept his word. But why did his love only last 1 lifetime? We walked so many red carpets together, through starlight and passing years. Our laughter, our tears, our shared understanding, our dreams for the world. For Miles, they had all become a film that had finished screening. In this lifetime, does none of it count anymore? The tide of memories gradually receded. Wave by wave, the cold wind cleared my mind and dried the tears at the corners of my eyes. Luna Lin, this must be the last time you cry for him. I wiped my tears fiercely, opened my Weibo followers list, and without hesitation blocked the newly added follower, Director Miles Meng. The success of Moonlight was like a stepping stone, knocking open the door to the entertainment industry for me. Back then, only a sophomore, I was already flooded with acting offers. Soon, I officially began filming my first leading role in The Little Tree, a humanistic film about a deaf, mute female painter. The director was also a newcomer. To save costs, the film had no lavish sets or complex special effects, with most scenes shot on streets and in parks. But the script was crafted with utmost sincerity, reflecting the director's genuine heart, just like Miles Meng once did. Meanwhile, Spring Encounter was completed and released. As expected, it became a massive hit, with discussions flooding every social media platform. After all, Miles Meng borrowed so many tropes from blockbuster films. If Spring Encounter failed, I'd have suspected his creative spark had truly stayed in our past life. After Spring Encounter premiered, reactions were split. Many critics mocked, superficial, overly commercialized, lacking substance. Director Meng has bowed to the market. This is nothing like the style of his award-winning debut film. Lily Liu's face isn't suited for the big screen, and her acting is mediocre. She should try TV dramas first to hone her skills. Yet, undeniably, the film was a hit. Miles Meng became famous, and so did Lily Liu. From then on, our paths diverged completely. I devoted myself to mastering acting, never overexposing myself through variety shows. When choosing roles, I never considered how popular the co-stars were, how famous the director was, or how big the budget was. Only whether the script moved me, though not every film I made was a hit, and many had modest box office returns. My reputation in the entertainment industry grew steadily. I gained a fiercely loyal fan base, and even won my first Best Actress award earlier than in my previous life. Yet Miles Meng was completely the opposite of his past self. Or rather, I could tell he was caught in his own indecision. After directing 2 blockbuster films, he suddenly announced he would shoot an indie film. But Lily Liu seemed entirely unsuited for the vibe of indie cinema. The media repeatedly caught them arguing on set. Miles once even threw the script in her face, yelling that she just didn't get it. Eventually, he replaced Lily with a little-known newcomer as the female lead. Though rumors said they hadn't broken up, Lily stopped acting in any of Miles' films. Without his tailored roles, the 2 leading films she took on her own flopped, and she gradually faded from the movie industry. So she shifted focus to idol dramas and frequent variety show appearances, barely managing to keep her name and popularity afloat. We had each found our own paths. Just when I thought Miles and I would never cross paths again in this lifetime, we met at a film awards ceremony. As fate would have it, our seats were right next to each other. When I lifted my gown and found my seat, Miles Meng was already sitting there. He wore his usual impeccable black suit, holding a cigarette that he quickly extinguished the moment he saw me, his eyes widening in surprise. "Good eve, Miss Lin." "Hello." I nodded and calmly took my seat beside him. Before the ceremony began, the lights dimmed. The screen started playing clips from the nominated films, one after another, with applause and cheers rising and falling around us. "I saw your new film, The Empress," he spoke suddenly, his voice as light as a feather. "You acted brilliantly." "Thank you. And not just the new one. I've watched every one of your films. You're truly the most gifted actress I've ever seen. Actually, I've always hoped for a chance to work with you." I paused for a moment, then turned to look at Miles Meng. The outline of his profile looked somewhat gentle in the dim light as he smiled and said, "I just don't know if you'd ever consider working with someone like me." "Not at all, Director Meng. You're a very talented director yourself. It's just that my script selection preferences might not fully align with your style." I spoke calmly, yet a flicker of surprise crept into my heart. I had assumed Miles Meng, like me, would want no further connection in this lifetime, but he probably doesn't know I'm also reborn. This might just be polite small talk, nothing to take seriously. After being rejected, Miles looked momentarily dazed and fell silent. I thought our conversation would end there. The Empress went on to win numerous awards again, while Miles' film only garnered several nominations without securing wins. After the awards ceremony, as I finished media interviews and prepared to leave, he followed me. "Do you have a ride? Let me drive you." I paused, then replied, "Yes, my assistant is picking me up." He said nothing more. Outside, heavy rain poured down. My assistant's car was still en route, and instead of getting into his own, Miles waited with me by the roadside. Amid the quiet patter of rain, he suddenly spoke. "Miss Lynn, did you know I had a dream about a past life?" I stayed silent, my fingers tightening on my skirt. He continued, "In that past life, I chose you as the female lead for Spring Encounter. Though the film flopped, we clicked and slowly grew closer. Sorry, Director Meng, my ride is here." I smiled and pointed at the white car approaching in the distance. Cutting him off, Miles Meng stared at me blankly. I waved goodbye to him. I don't believe in past lives or this life. People should just live well in the one lifetime they have. If you often have such dreams, maybe see a doctor. Could it be too much stress lately? By the way, I'm still waiting for wedding sweets from you and Miss Liu. After such a long relationship, don't let her down. Miles Meng's lips parted, but in the end, nothing came out. The moment I shut the car door, I finally let out a breath. My assistant asked curiously, "Sis, what did Director Meng say? Did he offer you a role?" "Nothing much, just casual talk." The car gradually drove into the curtain of rain, streetlights blurring into hazy halos through the downpour. A sense of unease crept over me. What did Miles Meng mean by telling me all this? My unease wasn't unfounded. After that day, Miles somehow got hold of my WeChat ID. When I saw the friend request, I hesitated for a long time, but ultimately accepted it. That very night, his messages started popping up one after another. "Miss Lynn, are you free recently? I'd like to take you out for a meal." "If that's all right," I declined. "Do you have any plans lately? If you're free, would you like to go hiking or something?" I told him I was preparing physically for my next film and wouldn't be going out. "Do you have any favorite movies? Which actors do you like?" Miles even preemptively listed many films and actors, all ones I'd loved in my past life. Having lived 2 lifetimes, I wasn't so oblivious as to miss his intentions. He was showing interest in me. He wanted to pursue me, but that only left me even more bewildered. Did something happen between him and Lily Liu? Miles Meng started frequently messaging me on WeChat. The messages piled up like a mountain. Since we inevitably cross paths in the entertainment industry, I couldn't bring myself to block him. After thinking it over for a long time, I finally decided to meet him and clear the air. "Let's grab a meal together tomorrow. There's something I really need to talk to you about." The moment I sent that message, he instantly replied with, "Okay," as if he was afraid I might change my mind. When I arrived at the restaurant the next day, Miles Meng was already waiting in the private room. He was dressed in a very formal suit, and a bouquet of red roses lay on the table. Seeing me, he smiled, his eyes filled with a hint of anticipation. "Wan Yue." I still addressed him politely, "Director Meng." He smiled awkwardly and gestured to the menu. "I've already ordered. See if it's to your liking." Of course, it was all my preferences from my past life. He remembered them clearly. I nodded and sat down across from him. "You finally agreed to have a meal with me. That's wonderful." Miles Meng smiled happily, with a touch of shyness in his expression. He poured me a glass of water. We're both adults, and I didn't want to be too coy about many things. "Actually, you like me? Want to pursue me?" Miles Meng's face instantly flushed red. I smiled faintly, took a sip of tea, and said, "Then, since you were reborn, why didn't you pursue me? Why did you choose Lily Liu first?" Miles's face turned deathly pale, his lips trembling. "Wan Yue, I've been reborn too, just like you," I said calmly. The air fell silent as we gazed at each other wordlessly for a long time. Finally, he spoke, his voice hoarse. "When did you?" "I came back during the Spring Encounter audition." "Spring Encounter audition? That was 6 years ago," Miles murmured, his eyes suddenly widening in disbelief. "Then why didn't you come find me? Why didn't you confront me back during Spring Encounter?" "Xie Chun, The female lead of Spring Encounter was a character you loved deeply. I let out a light laugh, my tone tinged with self-mockery. The moment you chose Lily Liu as the new female lead, was there even a need for me to question it? Miles Meng, I too have my own pride and self-respect. Miles Meng fell silent again. After a long pause, he said softly, I'm sorry. I closed my eyes, suppressing the surging emotions in my heart. In our past life, what you felt for me, was it all a lie? How could it be? How could it possibly be a lie? Miles Meng grew agitated, grabbing his hair with both hands and roaring, Wan Yue, I love you. I've loved you my entire life. But Lily's death has always been a hurdle in my heart. I kept wondering, if I had accepted her back then and been with her, would she have avoided what happened later? We wouldn't even have needed to be together long, just 2 or 3 months of me truly facing her and being with her. I admit I did have some feelings for her in our past life, but it wasn't love. Nothing compared to what I felt for you. It's just that after her death, those feelings turned into an obsession. You and I had a perfect life together, yet my obsession with her never faded, even till death. So you chose her over me after being reborn. I cut him off, my tone calm yet icy. You wanted a different life. Miles Meng. No. Miles Meng shook his head. I only intended to be with her for 2 or 3 months at first, really. After we got together, I realized we weren't compatible in tastes or values. I tried breaking up several times, but Xiao Ying was so fragile. I was afraid she might do something drastic. Until 6 months ago, after another huge fight, I finally couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't ruin my own life for hers. I've done everything I could for her, more than enough. I refuse to sacrifice my love for her. Wan Yue, it's you I love, only you, always you. I looked at the tearful Miles Meng, feeling not a single ripple of emotion in my heart. Miles, don't lie to yourself, I said softly, my voice tinged with pity. You simply enjoyed the allure of the red rose. So, this lifetime you wanted to try the white rose. But, finding the white rose lacking, you now chase after the red rose again. Yet why should I wait for you? Miles Meng froze, his eyes filled with shock and pain. I took my bag and stood up, my tone calm yet resolute. Miles, love isn't an experiment. You can't taste sweetness, then crave bitterness, sourness, and spice, only to return seeking sweetness again. I'm not a tool for your perfect life, nor will I always wait here for you. I have my own life, my own path. And you made your choice long ago. Goodbye. No, let's not meet again. In this lifetime, Luna Lin and Miles Meng had no past intersections, and in the future, there will be none either. I turned and left. As I pushed open the private room door, a cold wind rushed in, scattering the rose petals on the table, like those sealed away memories, destined to scatter and fade with time.